Okay, at the end of the first video, we have been talking about the different ways to earn points in the course. And we had just wrapped up talking briefly about the research application mini project, which we'll talk more about, and then the final research review paper. Okay, so we're still going through the syllabus, so this part of the syllabus, the tabbable syllabus, just gives an idea of how you earn points in the course. That's performance-based assessments. The next part of the syllabus, the grading scale, that just tells you how you earn points, your total of 150 points. And then the grading scale is very typical for all courses in the College of Ed. A big thing I like to say about this course is communicate. Check your email. If you have your email forwarded to your private account, just make sure you haven't exceeded your quota, because then it won't forward anymore from the George Mason account if your quota is exceeded. And make sure you're logging in to our course. I try to send all announcements also as emails, but as you know, a learning module will probably open twice a week for the first few weeks, and then at least once a week as the semester progresses. So you want to be in Blackboard and in your email. I suggest daily. Just check at the beginning of the day to see if anything else has been posted. In terms of participation, everything is online, so we really do expect you as part of this course to be an active participant in all the online activities. Not just like the big assignments, but there'll be small feedbacks to post to your classmates. Those are just as important. They're important because they make our class like a community. They're also important because that's how you earn a lot of your weekly points. Those smaller points do add up. They help me know that you're understanding the class. They also help you work towards completing the class. Okay, these expectations are pretty typical of the College of Education, just that you'll follow the honor code. If you do have a disability, I encourage you to let me know as soon as possible if you're registered with ODS, so we can get your accommodations in place. Obviously, we expect you to use responsible computing because this is an online course. And I will communicate with you along those lines through your George Mason email account and through Blackboard. We do, as the last one says, expect you to exhibit professional dispositions at all times, and usually that's not an issue in a graduate level class. These are just different resources available to you. I highly recommend if you are feeling stressed or you have any issues with your mental health to check out CAPS, the Counseling and Psychological Services. That's part of your student services fees goes to that. So it's free to you. So if you need help, please contact them. The other thing you might need help with in this course is writing. So this is the contact for the Writing Center. They will not write your paper for you, but they will support you, guide you in terms of editing and revisions for your work. Here is just the core values of the College of Education and just more information about the Graduate School of Education. So just for your information. So in a nutshell, that's the syllabus. Again, I'm going to go back to the left-hand side to click on it, and we just went through the tabbable syllabus. Also remember we're in the syllabus and expectations tab from the left. Also in this tab are just resources. These are responsible computing information and resources. This is directing you if you have course questions, you can email me. There's also an FAQ blog. So if you have a question, that's for the good of everybody, you click FAQ blog and you can ask it so that everybody can see your question. I find that most times people want to email me individually, and that's fine to do that, okay? Again, we're just going through more of the resources under the Syllabus and Expectations tab. Technical questions, you would either go to Blackboard FAQs, the tutorials, or IATU support, okay? So technical questions, I'm not the best person to field those, so that's why I have those contacts there. Going back to the left-hand side, because these these tabs really are your navigational devices. The next tab is Course Overview. The first tab gives you a bit of an overview of what to expect in the course. So again, just some basic information on our course. Pretty much gets down into what learning modules and their content will be. So that has all 15 for our 15 learning modules, what the content will be. Here it goes into your major course assignments. That's divided into 2 folders. One has the mini project, which is due July 20th, and the other folder is for the research literature review paper. So if you click on one, it'll give you the description. So it will give you a full description of the assignment. Then when it says outline, it's more like a template. This mini application assignment is a PowerPoint proposal. So here when it says outline, this is really a PowerPoint template for your project. And just to give you a little overview of the assignment while it's opening, this assignment is, I tell people usually it's easiest, it's telling me you can't open it here. Let's go back for a second. When you go to do this assignment, you have already been working on your literature review paper, which means pulling background research on a particular topic. So I usually recommend to people that you design your own study, which is your mini project proposal, on the topic that you've been researching. So basically you're going to take that background information that you've been gathering for the literature review and you're going to convert it into a proposal for a study that you would do in theory. This is not one that you're actually doing, but this is a study that you could possibly do. And this is the template. And you'll notice it's almost ready to go here. I just have to enable editing if it'll let me do that. But even if it doesn't here, when you click on this on yours and you wait, it will enable the editing feature for you. And you can enter in the title here. Enter your group member names there. And then on the other sides here, you'll enter in your content for your particular topic, like what your educational problem is, your purpose, method, how your study is being designed. So it leads you through all the key parts of putting a study together. Okay, so you don't leave anything out. We will talk more about this assignment as the semester goes on, but there's a very descriptive rubric here. Let me click out of that. The rubric goes through step by step what you need to include, but I don't recommend you start working on it until, if you work ahead, that's fine, but until you complete work for Learning Module 7, because we cover content that you'll need to understand up through Learning Module 7 for putting this proposal together. So I know some of you want to get a jump start on it, but if you do, the best thing to do is go through the content in the first 7 learning modules first. If you click on these are all samples of many projects that have been done in the past, and people find that helpful when they go and try to put their project together. So those resources are there for you. So again, if I go back to course overview, I was in the major course assignments. We had gone through to the mini project. Now I'm going to click on and go through the research review paper. Here is a rubric for that paper. The outline here is not a PowerPoint outline or template. It's a Word document template. It has, and just hold on a second, it's going to take a moment to open. It's going to have very rough APA format to it. So it's got APA format, but you might have to reorganize it based on your particular level of headings in your paper. So it gives you a starting place to put your title, your name, your running head, and then it kind of describes each piece like the abstract, and you delete that part out and add the content in. Same thing with the title of the paper, headings, but again, you might have to change up the headings a little bit depending on how many subheadings and levels of headings you'll have, but it's meant to get you started. Okay, so going back to our course webpage, you'll have your rubric, which is your description of the assignment. Then there's that Word document template or outline, and then I've included some sample papers. Some of them you'll notice may have an individual voice and some are group papers. In this class, we will do this as a group assignment. So again, I highly advise you use the same group that you're going to have for your mini project, because that way, whatever literature you're pulling as a group for the literature review paper, then you can convert into your proposal for your mini project. You'll have that, like I mentioned before, the first week to try to find group members via the discussion board, and just people you might know from the class, from earlier classes. And then after the first week, if you're still looking for a group, I will assign you into a group. Groups of 4 people will be what we're working in this semester. Okay, so going back to course overview, this next folder has course rubrics. So basically it goes through how everything will be scored. So participation, again, like I mentioned, completing the weekly assignments. And then again, it has the rubrics, just so you have information in more than one place for the final paper and the mini project. That wraps up the course overview tab, because we already talked about the FAQ blog. You can get to it down here, or you can get to it by clicking on right here to go to the FAQ blog. The core of the course is the learning modules. Now, I only have one posted so far for today, but you click on it, and after a while, you'll see a bunch of learning modules. And each learning module starts out with what I call a navigational organizer. It tells you all the assignments for the week and when they're due, or in this case, for the learning module, because you'll get another learning module on Thursday. So it goes through all your assignments, and then you can click on each one individually and work your way through all the assignments for the week. This one has a video. Actually, it's going to have 2 videos when I finish navigating. It has an article. It has narrated PowerPoint, and you can decide what format, if you want to have it with a narration, if you just want to read the transcript and look through it, or if you want to listen to the audio. Then there's a quiz, a discussion board posting, and then there's an assignment that's actually not due until the 3rd module, because it's that city training for human subjects, which takes quite a while. And the last thing is a checklist. Again, it's just like the beginning advanced organizer for you to look at and make sure you've completed everything. Every module in the course will be set up the same way. All assignments, you can access them through the learning modules. So there'll be no surprise assignments. You'll work through the course. Even the activities and assignments you see here, all of them are assigned in the learning modules. Okay, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for what you need to do for the course. Here is your research review wiki. As you get further on in the course, the 3rd learning module, you'll be asked to post on your wiki. I'm just going to go into one of them here. This is Amanda, so she's the first person in the class. If she goes to make her wiki page, she would call the first page, I think I asked you to submit a topic. So she would write in topic, and she would write that as the heading, and then she would type what her topic is and submit it. Then myself or you all can give her feedback. Now, 2 ways to set up the wiki. She can keep adding to that one wiki page, or once you make one wiki page, it will ask you if you want to add additional wiki pages. So it almost becomes like a book. Most people find that adding additional wiki pages is helpful, because then they have each part of their paper on a different page. And again, I'll be posting directions as we go along on how to do that. So when you have to post on the wiki, you'll have directions. This is a discussion board. You can get through it through your learning modules. But the first one for the first learning module will be the introduction forum. You read the directions here, and then you'll make a posting on the introduction forum to introduce yourself. Other forums you can use, this one's optional to try to find group members. And then you'll have other ones for your mini project in your draft as you go along. Okay, activities and assignments. These are just, if you just want to go say, hey, what are the big assignments in the class? This takes you directly to where you can submit them. You can also do this through the learning module, so you don't feel like you have to use this tab. You can. This tab is for your information, just for submitting payment, how you would do that. We have a few more things, so I'm going to have a very short 3rd video clip, but I'll stop this one for now.